Alright, so before we start the video, I just want you to know this is like a Toothless and Kittens shirt. My best friend Margot got it for me, and it's amazing. It's so cute. Look at this little guy. But into the video, as you probably saw in the thumbnail and, the title, all those things. We're going to talk about the books I've read in 2021 that were published in 2021 up to this point. Which books are worth your time and why? I've read a lot. I was putting this list together. I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 releases this year in sci-fi and fantasy. Let's get into it. I do have reviews for almost all of these, so I'm not going to just keep saying that in the video. The ones I have reviews for, I will link down in the description. So if you want more in-depth thoughts than what I give in this video, if you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting, I want to know more, you can go check it out. They're all spoiler-free. So yeah, let's get into it, starting with The Mask of Mirrors, which you all know I love, I'm sure. Unless this is your first video with me, welcome. I'm Angela. I love The Mask of Mirrors. The reasons why I love this is I think it's a really great medium-paced fantasy that has great character interactions. It has a con artist heist. There's cool dream magic, but it's mostly the characters. When I think back of why I was reading this and loving my time, because this was my first favorite read of the year. It was in January, but this was the book where I wanted to spend all of my time reading books. That's what this book did to me. And it was because of the characters and their interactions, the found familyness, can I trust this character? Can I not trust this character? And there's this whole Mask Avenger, and you're like, who is this person? I got to know. It was such a fun time. I had a fantastic time. I actually was a part of a live stream for this at Leslie's channel at The Nerdy Narrative, so I will link that as well as the review down below if you want to see a bunch of other people gushing about it. But if you're like me and you like kind of slower fantasies where you meet people, it's not super slow. I think it's actually medium's a good word for it. But if you're good with the pacing of Mistborn at times, because the Mistborn series doesn't always have the most consistent pacing. I think that's similar here, where it's kind of a slower start, at least that's what people tell me, and then it blazes to the end. It's kind of that type of book, and I cannot wait for the sequel. It's coming out soon. When I say soon, it's coming out this year, which is kind of a quick turnaround time. So it's also great if you wanted to read the first two books back to back. The first one is a complete thought. Can't tell you about the second one, but it's an author duo, and I trust them to keep giving me books because it seems to be a project that they're very into. I have no clue if it's a duology, trilogy, 5 books. I have no clue. I just know I love it. I just know I want to reread it. So if you and I have similar fantasy thoughts, you should probably check it out. Next up, we've got A Desolation Called Peace. I think it's potentially a more entertaining and better book than the original. It depends, though. So for me, the reasons why I say it's better is because it has multiple point of views, which I liked. I liked adding in these point of views. And I liked that it played more with sci-fi tropes I like first contact with aliens. There's more military sci-fi, although not a lot, but there's more of that. But also, it's still inherently about language and empire and belonging and power imbalances. Everything in A Memory Called Empire is in A Desolation Called Peace. But the pacing is more consistent, I guess I would say. I think A Memory Called Empire was always slow-paced, but had a slow-paced portion that was even slower. And this one, I would say, is slow to medium-paced. And, it was really fun to create theories with my friends while I read it. I would highly recommend buddy reading both of them. I mean, I only buddy read A Desolation Called Peace, but it's definitely one of those thinky sci-fi where it's fun to bounce ideas off of someone's head. Well, not their head, but you know what I mean. And so I have reviews for both of them, both spoiler-free. I have a book club discussion on A Memory Called Empire. I really love the Texcalon duology. But I would say that this is not for someone who's oh, I love sci-fi, but the action-packed sci-fi. This is not that. This is very introspective. It's very reflective. It's very tense. It's got a lot of drama, and when the moments are stressful, they're stressful, but it's just not it's not action-packed. That's not what it is. If it's a page-turner for you, it's gonna be for other reasons. Next up, we've got The Conductors by Nicole Glover, and this one's fun. This one, I think, is good to think about as a serialized TV drama where you have a detective team and they have to solve a problem, except it's set in Reconstruction era Philadelphia. So it's a very different setting than what we normally see on TV, but it's a husband-wife duo who has to solve problems in their neighborhood because it's a black neighborhood in Philadelphia, and they don't really trust, the white people because, yeah, this all makes sense, right? And I really had a good time. I have a review for it where I go into it more depth. I'm excited for the sequel because I like the two main characters. I think you have to like them to care about the books, because I think that's how it is for me in most detective stories. Like, the mystery itself is rarely what hooks me in a mystery story. It has to be the people solving the mystery that I care about. And in this case, I really did care about them and their community, and the magic system is really cool. There's like 2 different types of magic system, and they're just culturally different. Like, there's no reason why you couldn't do one or the other than your culture. And the one that our main characters use are based on like constellations and drawing sigils, and I'm a sucker for that, like always. So it's short, it's fun. If you like murder mystery detective stories and like having that fantasy in it, it's kind of like urban fantasy like, but it's not contemporary. It's like a historical fiction setting. So if any of those things sound like your buzzwords, you should try it out. I do know some people have not connected to the characters like I have, so your mileage might not go very well there. But I had a fun time, and this is from someone who doesn't love like murder mystery books. Like, that's just not usually my thing. Now we've got Remote Control by Nidia Corfor. This is my favorite by Nidia Corfor. But I think you need to know things to understand whether you're going to like or not like this book. This is a sci-fi book that is nothing like normal. It's nothing like sci-fi if you like really hard sci-fi. This is like folklore. This is like a tale you tell around the campfire to people in a sci-fi world. And it's like sci-fi adjacent to us. Like, it's near future us. I think it takes place in Ghana. And you're following this girl go through a journey of discovering her powers and finding balance with these powers. And these powers are initiated by what I would consider a sci-fi element. But you never understand it. Like, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is to follow this young girl who has this very powerful gift and figure out how to handle that. That's the course of the novella, and I think the novella is like the perfect space for that type of story. And I really liked following her, and I love a story that's like a story you could have around a campfire. Like, that's one of my narrative structures that is like my buzzwords. It's like, ooh, it's storytelling. Like, so it's like folklore, sci-fi, and it doesn't have very strong technological elements. It's not really a part of the intrigue. It's more a coming-of-age story for someone who also has this like horrible gift/curse sort of thing. So hopefully that sets expectations appropriately. I know some people who have read it who are like, this is not a sci-fi, or at least not their definition of a sci-fi. And I've had people who like read the back of the book and they thought it would be like more grand, I think. And it's really quite like a small story, I feel, where you just have this woman who becomes a legend within her own right and how she handles that in the course of a couple years. So that's what that one's about. If you like it, let me know, because I think it's the best Nidia Corfor I've read so far, and I've read 5 of her works. Next up, we've got Winter's Orbit, which I have a review for. In that review, I say that this is really good if you like are new to sci-fi and you don't even have to like romance, but if you don't mind romance, you have to like romance to like this book, I think. It's 50% romance. I don't think you can ignore that. But like my issues is as like a kind of seasoned sci-fi reader, I didn't think the sci-fi portion was very strong, and it happens to be 50% sci-fi, which is great, but like since that part wasn't strong, I kind of wished it was 75% romance and like 25% sci-fi. But I still had a really fun time. I buddy read this with my friend R, and their channel is This Cubed. I can link that down below. And you follow these 2 people put into an arranged marriage, and they are disasters, and there's miscommunication because of things that you find out in the story. And there also just happens to be like a really big important political event happening, an important murder, and they're in the center of it while they're also trying to figure out this like marriage of convenience, and that's what happens in the story. I do think it feels more like a contemporary murder mystery with a marriage of convenience than a sci-fi. Like I said, the sci-fi parts are not the strong point for this, so if you go into it, just know that going in, but it's also like a good way to be introduced into kind of sometimes the more galactic sci-fi world building that can be happened in a palatable way if you're looking for something like that. I had a fun time. I didn't love it as much as other people have loved it, but I have no regrets. Next one is The Gilded Ones, which we did for the Space Sirens Book Club. I'll have that down below. I liked this way more than I expected to, mainly because like I don't know, I expect to like a lot of young adults. I don't expect to love them just because I haven't loved young adult books since I was a young adult, if that makes sense. And this one was like almost a 4.5 stars if it wasn't for the ending. That's how much I really liked it. I know a lot of people say this reads young. I mean, our main character is 14 or 15, but I think it reads like she's 14 or 15, or she reads like how I was when I was 14 or 15, and maybe that's why I was okay with it, because I really liked how she handled problems and how she handled growing relationships with friends and a potential significant other. Like, for the most part, she valued friendships over romance, but there's still a romance, and I know a lot of people who didn't like it or wished it wasn't there. I personally thought it was really sweet and very relatable, but that's just me. But into like the meat plot of the book, it's so dark. It's so dark. The first couple chapters are just like so dark. Like, I could see a studio doing it PG-13 or R, like very, very dark content. And I really liked, I don't know, the army of women that comes together. If you don't know the premise, this is a story about women who, if they bleed gold at a certain point, they are killed by their villages. But of course, our main character, who this happens to, does not get killed. She gets taken in to become a part of this army for the kingdom. And the story goes from there. So kind of a standard like YA setup, right? Our main character is different, and is different in a bad way, and has a chance to survive if they do X. Like, that's kind of formulaic. But man, I was not expecting to like really like it as much as I did. Like, it was such a fun time. I'm excited to see what other books come out in this series. I don't know, all the flaws that other people have talked about were pros from me, but I'm just telling you what I have heard, so you can take all this information and do with it what you will. Machine Hood's the next one I want to talk about, and this one really surprised me. So this one wasn't even on my radar till my friend Cassidy sent me a physical ARC, and then I also requested an e-ARC, so I'll have her channel down below. And so this is 90 years in the future sci-fi, kind of everything's a gig economy, so basically everyone has, like, they make money through like their TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. It's different things, but it's those things. It's that type of setup. There's no stable job anymore. That doesn't really exist. And our main character has had one of those few stable jobs, but she's going to age out of her current one at the young age of 30, which is insane. But right when she's about to retire, a big event happens that she's at the center of and needs to help solve and calm down the scenario. So this is a pretty action-packed sci-fi, but I think also has enough quiet moments that I really liked it, and I thought the world building was really cool. I also really liked the other point of view we had, which is her sister-in-law scientist who does a lot of stuff. Like, the integration of technology and medicine with people and the economy, I just thought learning all of that was really cool, and I thought it was action-packed enough. I did read it when I was slumpy, which makes me, more likely to like action-packed sci-fi than when I'm not slumpy. But I also think that, like, a complaint I heard from some friends is that it kind of lulled at some points, and it never did that for me, which makes me feel like it's more like a medium fast-paced book, which has, like, those nice quiet character moments that I thrive on. So I just was really surprised by this one. I left the ARC with my mom to read, and she really liked it too, so I think it's a pretty good book that, like, no one's really talking about. So if any of this sounds like your buzzwords and you want to try it out, you should. I do recommend it. It's a solid 4-star experience for me, and I really appreciated the book because it got me out of a slump. Next up, we got Chaos on Catnet. Need I say more? I have a whole Catnet series review. I yell about this series on my channel all the time. Young adult, thriller, wholesome, no miscommunication trope, sassy AI character. Go read it. Consume it so that she will keep writing me books. Do it just for me, please. But honestly, this is one of my favorite palette cleanser series. I want there to be like 1 million books. It would be the perfect series for me when I was a young adult, and it still is for me now. I just love this friend group on the website called Catnet, and how they help each other with real life problems, and then also when things go off the rails, as they do in these thriller plot arcs. It takes place in the Midwest, which is also fun for me because I'm from the Midwest. I mean, this AI started a website where you give cat pictures in exchange for, like, wholesome, healthy internet environments. I mean, come on, it's so good. It's such a good series. The sequel didn't quite have the same gripping plot as the first one for me, so I knocked it down a 0.5 star, but still fantastic. Like, so if you like the first one, you should still for sure read the second one. It's the same level of wholesomeness. All right, next one is A Court of Silver Flames, which, yeah, I did read in the first half of the year, and I think it did come out in February. I generally enjoyed it. It generally did what I want Sarah J. Maas fantasy romances to do, but I did have issues, and like I've done every time I've had issues, I will refer you to Reads with Rachel, because she did like a spoiler chat video on it and perfectly explains all the things I have issues with the book. It's just like if you've read Sarah J. Maas, you're gonna know if you're gonna like this book or not. Like, if you haven't liked her, don't try it, and if you've liked her, you're probably gonna like it. And if you've always been in the middle ground, well, she's still bad at plot. That hasn't changed. And by bad, I mean, like, the stakes are never believable to me, and, like, it's also messy, and, like, plot holes galore. I'm just like, I can't buy into the scenario that I've been given. And then the less bad thing about the plots is, you know, the MacGuffins, go find the thing, and suddenly you're important for this thing because it's got to help you with your character growth. But the found family stuff, the romance stuff, the character growth stuff that I always really like in her books, that's all there. It's just that this time, instead of the plot making me kind of roll my eyes a little bit, it made me a tiny bit angry. So that's why I'll refer you to Rachel, because she goes into it at length, and I think she's way funnier than me, so go do that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you don't need me to tell you if you should read this book. If you like Sarah J. Maas, you know. Like, you know, it's very much in line with the rest of A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, okay, we've got Saruland by Rivers Solomon, and this is my favorite Rivers Solomon. And I'm so happy because Evie from She Was Only Evie bought me a copy, and it's so beautiful, and I'm so excited to read it again one day, or just stare at it on my shelf. It's a very pretty book, and it's the same height as The Deep, which is another novella I really like by them. This is a great, like, survival story, and I love survival. It's definitely a genre blend. I hear it's gothic. I don't know what gothic means. Someone one day will tell me. But you have this 15-year-old who gives birth to twins in the forest, and that's where you start the story, and something is not right. And you spend the story kind of figuring out what's not right as, you know, years pass and they survive in the forest, and then things change, like plot happens, the plot progresses. But it's also not like a super fast-paced thriller, and there was found family I was not expecting, and there were heartfelt moments where I was like, I was like, I'm so soft. Like, it was so sweet. It was so sweet. I was dying. So the combination of those great character moments and this really gripping, engaging, like, mystery plot arc, and it's very, like, eerie. It's creepy and it's eerie. Definitely content warnings for a lot of things. It's that type of, like, thriller, horror, creepy part of speculative fiction that isn't afraid to, like, go there. Like, perfect when you're feeling that, though. Like, when you're feeling something like that, and, like, themes of motherhood, and I talked about a lot of the themes in my review, so if any of these things intrigue you but you're still not sold, go check out my review, because I definitely am more coherent there. But I really liked reading this. It's my favorite by them. I can't wait to read whatever they come out with next. Okay, The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. It's like my favorite fantasy of the year. It's neck and neck with another book. It's very good. I have a review for it. Like I said, I have a review for almost everything on this list. I need to stop saying that. Okay, this is rebellion, military fantasy, low magic. None of those are my buzzwords. I love this book, okay? So even if those aren't your buzzwords, it might be worth a try, because if you like Terrain and Luca as much as I liked Terrain and Luca, you're in for a good time. Those are our main point of views. Luca is a princess who's trying to get her throne. Terrain is a conscripted soldier from the age of 5 of this occupied land who wants to prove themselves to the emperor, and messiness ensues because they then travel back to the occupied land. Like, we are in the occupied territory for this story, and man, C.L. Clarke was not afraid to dig into the messiness of that, and I loved it. I just could not put it down, and I was not expecting to pick this book up. I didn't have an arc. I wasn't planning to, because it was none of my buzzwords. I was reading it for a book club, and I can link that down below as well. And I was nervous because I only had 4 days to read it, and I'm like, oh man, I hope I like this. I blew through it in 3. Like, I could not put it down. It was really captivating. I loved the character work. I loved just the character introspective and the interaction. Terrain's really hot. I don't know what else to say. If you like any of these things I'm talking about, you should go read it. It is low magic, it is military, it is rebellion, but it's also very good. And the last one is the one where I can't tell if I liked it more than The Unbroken or not. It just depends, because they're different and similar, and it's hard, and that's The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This was my first one by her. By the time you're seeing this, my review video will be out in the world somewhere. Oh gosh, so I read the last 150 pages of this in one sitting, which, yeah. This is one of like my favorite ways to have like a first book in a series for my fantasy tastes. It's kind of like a slow start. We're getting to know the world. We're getting to know the characters. Like, stressful, mysterious things are happening, but we're not at 100 yet. And then I love, like, points of tension and stress and figuring out how do we get out of this situation. And this book does that really well. And then it has, like, the fist pump moments at the end of the book where I'm like, yes! I'm so excited. This thing happened. So, like, it's that type of paced fantasy book. I don't know if anything I just said was helpful to you, but it's like that. It's definitely like a slow-paced fantasy. It's more up on the line of like Robin Hobb or something like that. It has amazing prose. Priya and Maleni, just like how I like Toraine and Luca, amazing characters. I mean, they're completely different, but like amazing. I really love them. Like, I think both of them made it to my favorite characters of the first half of the year so far, and the more I think about them, the more excited I am for the sequel. But I do think because of its slow-natured pace, whether or not you like the characters might help you decide if it's a book that works for you, and I can't really help you with that other than saying that, like, they are really badass female characters in their own ways. Like, Maleni is a ruthless princess who's been put in prison by her emperor brother and needs to figure that out, and Priya is a maiden who ends up getting to help the princess, and she has a mysterious past that she has repressed for herself. That's what I can say. I love them both. They're very different, and I just can't wait to see the next book and see what happens, because their arcs in this book were like so good. But these were the books that have come out in 2021 that I have read so far. What have you read that I have not read that you think I should read? That, like, what's the book that I've been missing? Because I mean, I already have one for sure, which is A Master of Jinn, which I am already going to be reading in July. That's already happening. I'm fixing it. But otherwise, let me know sci-fi or fantasy releases that you think I would really love that I've somehow missed. Like, for example, I think there's another Orbit release that I haven't read yet. Because Orbit, let me be real, Orbit hits it out of the park. Orbit is like my favorite publisher these days. I have loved so many Orbit books. I just wish they would print them all in the same size. But that's a discussion for another video. And if you've made it this far, I don't know. We haven't done robots in a while, right? Put down a robot for Machine Hood as your emoji, or any emoji you'd like. I don't care. I just love interacting with you guys. And like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.